Hello everybody, it's Caius, and I'm back here to make a different kind of video than I normally do. I've made Path of Exile build guides in my last few videos, but today we're going to be covering a genre I've been playing on and off, and that is the horror ghost hunting genre. So, the first one of these games I played towards its release was Phasmophobia. I have about 135 hours in that game, around level 700, and it was a game I didn't realize I would like so much. It's just different than anything I played. You're hunting ghosts, you're going to a haunted house, you're dealing with the paranormal. Really cool idea, and I really enjoyed it, especially at the beginning. Eventually, I did burn out because I think I overplayed it, and I kind of put these kind of games on hold, checking Phasmo here and then there over the updates. I think the last time I played it was when the latest map came out. And now we have Ghost Hunters Corp, which is a game in early access on Steam, and I checked it out on day one. I've been playing it a lot, and it's a game that has given me awesome experiences, but it's frustrated me, and we'll kind of go into that. We'll kind of go into my opinion of the game, and this is more or less going to be like a beginner's guide of how to play the game. And then to answer one of the biggest questions I get on Twitch all the time from people are coming into the chat and going, "So how is this different than Phasmo? How does this compare to Phasmo?" They come in with that mentality that it's literally going to be the same game, and I'm here to tell you it's not. There are similarities, but there are enough differences to make it its own game. So we're kind of just going to go through the game. I'll end up playing a sample round. I'm going to show you around and talk about the comparisons between the two as we go. So the first thing when you come, you load the game. You come to this screen here, which is the settings, and you pick your language, and then you can set your keyboard type. We're just going to go with the standard. So you click next, and then it tells you it's early access. You can report the bugs and so on, and then it tells you a little bit about the game. And then you hit next again, and then you set up your mic. I generally hit this. I was doing this, but this could actually crash your game, the loading screen and all. So if you just hit this and you wait, it loads. Then to check if your mic works, you just pronounce this line, it will turn green. So you just say, "Spirit, give us a sign." Oh, "Spirit, give us a sign." There you go. So say a little bit louder in the mic. Lights up green, hit next. And it tells you for more immersive experience what to do, blah, blah, blah. And then you can test sound in each ear just to make sure it's coming out both sides. It's working. And then for the brightness, I was keeping it at 0, which kept the game very dark. But as for some feedback and how streaming darkens your gameplay, this was just better to put it at +1 so it's easier for the viewers to play. So we just keep it at +1. But you can go all the way to 2, or you can go -2. So we just keep it at 1. I just go 1 off the default, and I hit I'm ready. Now, once you load in, just takes a second. Just like in Phasmo, you have a starter room, but I will say right off the bat, this starter room is 1,000 times better than the other one. So you got your contract board, got your level, it'll show your team there. You list your contracts, and just like in Phasmo, there's 3 difficulties which we'll go into. And what's cool is you can either buy a contract for a set price to get the exact map and difficulty you want, or you could just pick one off this board, and it frequently resets over time. So like every 10, 15 seconds, one of these will come off, and another one will come on eventually. And these will be free. So that's your board, and we'll go into that. As you walk around, the cool thing, there's a tutorial room, which we'll go over there. I'll give you kind of an idea of the differences in items and what they do. You actually have these stories on the wall, and yesterday I was informed, I don't know how true some of these are, but apparently this is a real article. So, and they're actually legible, and that was one of my things at Phasmo. They had like newspaper articles in the van, but like you couldn't read them. They were like blurred, but you could actually read these if you want to, or look up the stories that apparently they're based on true stories. So I thought that was cool. You got these creepy ass dolls. Standard movement, so you kind of move around with ASWD. Shift helps you run, but in this game compared to Phasmo, you get tired if you run too much. So we're just running, and see now I'm like I can't shift anymore. I'm exhausted. So that's a difference in the running right there. You can't do the whole bind your shift to W type thing, because you don't always want to run. You kind of want to save your stamina. You got your standard crouch, which is C. You can go up to objects, and you could click and hold and move the object around. This is a way to carry an extra item with you at points, so it's a way to move it around. You can pick up objects with E. You could drop them with F. And then you have your standard menus with escape, which we'll go into in a second. So, if we're going straight off the bat, you got a profile button. You could put your name. You could pick your character. There's 5 models at the moment. You could pick your color background. So it's pretty basic, just like Phasmo. Not too much of a difference there. You got your XP level, how much money you have, and all that. You have a tutorial button, which will just kind of tell you what to do. I'm going to kind of just talk to you about it because I had a friend that went through this game. She didn't know what she was doing for the first couple hours, and then I explained it to her in 2 minutes. She said it was better explained, so we're just going to go with that. You then got your Ghostpedia, which is very similar to the journal in Phasmophobia, where you put your evidence type and your ghost type. The one major difference between the two games already is in Phasmo, you are trying to discover what kind of ghost it is based on what evidence you give. The evidence tells you what kind of ghost it is. You figure out what it is, you do your objectives, you leave, and that's it. And it's sometimes left an unsatisfying feeling because you're just leaving. In this game, you are actually fighting the ghost. You are finding evidence types, which there are 5, and any ghost could have any combinations of these things. And it doesn't tell you more or less what the ghost type is. The ghost type is actually determined by the model of the ghost. Unlike in Phasmo, where the model is just random, the model of the ghost could tell you a lot about what it is in some cases. Like, you could tell if it's a child, you could tell if it's a shadow at the bat, you could tell if it's a revenant. And they all have distinct characteristics, and we have 5 different types. We have a child. For the child, you're going to see a young girl in like a white dress. They're very easy to tell. You'll see them right off the bat. They are usually pretty aggressive. They're probably actually one of the most aggressive ghosts in the game I played. I hate playing against them. So there's the child. There's the demon, which his distinct characteristic is there's a voice box just like in Phasmo. If you ask if he could hear you, he will do a menacing laugh that gives it away that's a demon. We then got a revenant, and its distinct feature is it will always crawl and only crawl. If it crawls at you for 5 hunts, but then walks at you to another hunt, it is not a revenant. But if it crawls at you all the time, it's a revenant. We then got a shadow. Probably the creepiest ghost in the game. It's just distorted darkness. This one creeps a lot of people out. I know quite a few people, including myself in situations. It'll make you jump. And it's creepy. It's always dark black. That's how you know it's a shadow. There's no other ghost. It's just dark black. Poltergeist. Like Demon. This is probably one of the harder ones to tell, but if it doesn't laugh maniacally and it's repelled by a crucifix, which we'll get into repelling in a bit, and you see it throwing stuff, it's probably a poltergeist. And those are the 5 ghost types. Now you're asking, why is this relevant? Like, we're trying to figure out what it is. So you can get clues like this. If we go through, there's EMF 0, 3, 4, and 5. So if you got your EMF like you do in Phasmo, and you go in the room and it goes to 3, 4, you'll put that. And let's say there's an entity scan, which is a scanner. We'll go over it. It gives you this code, which we'll go over. You get temperatures like you do in Phasmo, and they end up being negative. Then written evidence. There's wall and book writing. Let's say we got textual writing. And let's say we got a child. Now, if we hit this with no ghost, it won't do anything because we don't know the ghost type. But if we know, let's say that's a shadow because we saw the dark thing. So we know it's a shadow. We got these readings. We hit print exorcism. And this is how you win. You have to perform all these tasks, which we'll go into, to exorcise the ghost. And that is how you win the game. And obviously, we take some stuff away. Let's say there's only 2 things. There's less to do. But if you add more, then we could be looking at a whole list of things to do. And each ghost kind of has a unique thing to itself as well. Like if you just get the ghost without any evidence. So let's just take all this off. There's something unique about each of them that you'll just learn over time. First is shadows hate flash cameras, and that's always one of the parts to exercise them. For instance, demons, you have to read the book to exercise them. And then there's other stuff based on the other clues you find. And if you find all the clues, plus see the ghost, plus perform the exorcism, you will win the round. And you will get money like in Phasmo, XP, and so on. So that's how the Ghostpedia works. Then you have a photo. Get your photo book. 10 photos. There are bugs with this at the moment, which I'll go into when we play. But pretty self-explanatory. You get photos, you get money based on the photos you take, just like Phasmo. You got your ghost market. You buy items here. It's kind of just like Phasmo. There's a lot of them, so we'll kind of go over them as we go through the tutorial just to show you. You'll carry these in with you, but not in the sense of Phasmo. You don't start the run with these in most cases. You actually get a bunch of free items at the start of every run for most difficulties other than the top difficulty at the moment, which we'll go into when we go into our live run. You then have local co-op and Steam co-op. So if you want to play with friends on Steam, you'll just hit this button, create lobby, and then you'll do the whole shift tab and invite who you want to invite. That's how you do multiplayer. Keyboard, mouse, and you get your settings and your microphone. So those are your basic settings. Now, if we walk around, this has a pretty good tutorial. There's this creepy doll right here. My girlfriend hates this thing because you can tell it close your mouth, and you see its mouth starts closing. So the game kind of lets you mess around in here. You kind of just like grab stuff, interact. This is actually a big portion to get used to the physics. It's not great. Sometimes it struggles to pick up stuff. But I've figured that you just have to grab, lift up, and then you walk with it. You could run with some stuff, but some stuff will drop. Because you're going to need to carry items in this game as well. There's your normal equip, like this, like picking up E. But then there's also carrying items. And in this game, you can carry 3 items, but there's a unique twist with it. So, items you have. So there's something called the Salt Shotgun, or Salt. There will be an exorcism that says exorcise the ghost with salt. So what that means, you either have to touch the ghost with salt like this, you have to drop it at his feet and get him to walk over it, you have to throw it at him, or, in this case, there's a Salt Shotgun, which if you like shooting, reload it, and you can shoot at the ghost like that. So that's one of the things. The next is the Neutrino Gun. This is kind of like your Ghostbusters gun. And this will shoot a laser, has a charge on it, and we'll go from there. But that's pretty much it. These are 2 new items that you wouldn't have in Phasmo that are here. And if we go to the tutorial room, you get this room over here, which will tell you that you can keep doors closed. So you just open it, and you're going to hold your click and just hold the door towards you. You're going to keep it closed. Ghosts that come towards you are going to come through doors sometimes. You're going to want to hold it closed. That will buy you time. They will start banging on it. After 5 bangs, they will break the door off its hinges. That's what you need to keep in mind. We then got your standard items. Now, they got a camera just like in Phasmo, but this camera's different. It has pictures, and you just right-click to take your picture like normal. But the camera in this game can see invisible objects. And this is how you make money, by taking pictures of invisible objects, cursed items, taking pictures of the ghost. There'll be haunting rooms, there'll be pentagrams, there'll be ghost running. Taking pictures of stuff like that will get you extra money. But if you look here, we don't see a pentagram, but in the camera we do. So you can take a picture, and then over here, invisible cursed object. It only appears in the camera. And I don't know if it'll show you. Yep, see? And like I got 3 stars, 2 stars. So you get money for these photos. And that's pretty much what this camera does. You then got the occult cipher. This is not an item you start with. This is one you have to spawn in and buy yourself. But what it does, you right-click it on. It has the yellow light up top, and it will start making noise if it's near occult stuff. So it's picking up the pentagram kind of right here. So I'd be like, okay. Right here, it's picking up the object pretty heavily, so it tells you there's something there. And you might go, what's the point of that? Well, there's something called the flash cam or the instant cam. And this will make invisible objects reveal. So I know there's a pentagram here. Made it reveal. We know there's this here. Take a picture there. Now, anything deemed an accursed item or picked up by the occult cipher or this item, as we'll go in, can be taken back to your van for money as well. So you can take a picture and take it back. And the way this works, this is kind of like your thermometer and your temperature, or your occult reader mix. If you don't like that, this will give you numbers. Now, if you see under 5, in my opinion, under 5 means it's a normal room. There's nothing important in there. You kind of just walk around. See, we get here, the pentagrams have about 16 to 20. So that will tell you there's something crazy in there like that you need to look for. Wall writing, I think, has a 16. Cursed objects have a little bit less. I'm going to see if I can get this to come out, because I don't think this reading's accurate. So you can bring it out, too. If you're not sure, you need to get away from room. See, it has 8. Items generally have between 8 to 9. That's how you know it's cursed. So if I'm in an item and I'm trying to figure out what it is, I'm going to bring each item I physically see out to a room that I know there's not a cursed item in to get a reading. If I get the reading, I'll take a picture and I'll take it to the band. So that's what we end up doing there. Other than that, the temperature, you'll always just get a standard temperature. And as one of the clues shows, there's either a temperature, like non-existent, like normal, there's negative or 0. And the only way you'll get that number if the ghost is hunting you. You'll see that number on the temp either go to 0 or negative, and that's how you put the clue in. So this will help you with that. So there's some of the basics. Now, we have this area. Danger detector, not a standard item you walk with. Pretty much what it does, it will glow yellow if the ghost is close by, red if it's hunting. So we're going to see it's hard to pick up, so we're just going to hit E. So we just bring it over here. And as you can see, it's yellow because there's a ghost nearby. That's supposed to be our ghost. You then got your flashlight. Now here's the cool part about this game. You could hold 3 items, but you could dual wield. By hitting R, so you have to turn it on in your right hand first. So you right click to turn it on. By hitting R, you bring it to your left hand. And now you can carry some extra items like this. And you can scroll between the 2 on the right. You can switch anything into your right hand if you want. That lets you. Not everything does, but you see you can do that. So I can turn this on and go like this. But usually it's better just to put the flashlight in the left hand. The game is pretty dark. And we'll go over these items. So we got the thermometer. This is an item you have to spawn in. Now it will give you a temperature if you just hit it at the room. You see I'm getting the ER? That's if you match it right against the ghost. Like if you're looking right at the ghost, you hit the thermometer, you'll get an error reading. And the only purpose to that is there's a bonus objective when you go into maps that says get an error reading on the ghost. That's the only reason you bring in the thermo. We then have the entity scanner. You'll go up to the entity, turn it on. You can leave it on the ground if you want. And it will start to get a reading. So we'll just let that go. And that will give you a random code. See, entity scan, which is one of these. It will say like 9p none. And that kind of helps you understand what you need to do to exorcise the ghost. So we'll let that go as we go look at some other stuff. We then got EMF. If you look at the board, it kind of tells you what you're going to get. So we got EMF 3, 4. Now EMF, you need to be careful. You see how it's only doing 3 and then 2 there? 2 could deceive you because that's not one of the options. That's why you have to get close to the ghost sometimes to get the real reading. And this would be an EMF 4. You could also leave it on the ground. Right here. And that's how we do that. So EMF is pretty similar to Phasmo. We got to scan. This would be INL 120. So you just go in your book and put that. You then got your tripod camera. You will not start with this. You're going to get a much smaller one, which does the job. But you're going to get a little option to turn it on. You can rotate it. You can rotate this camera at least, which is kind of nice. With the buttons, you can turn the lights off. And in this case, we see a ghost orb. Another item you won't start with, you have to bring it in. But for one map in particular, it's pretty good. It's just a big headlight. You got your ghost writing book. Unlike in Phasmo, it won't write on the book on the ground. You have to hold it and pretty much say, Spirit, will you write in the book? Or will you write in the book? You see how it's lighting up over there? But that's that. Holy water. This is one of the exorcising tools. There will be sometimes an exorcism that says, throw holy water at the ghost. Or some will say, throw it at the pentacle. So you can go up to the pentacle, which is this thing right here, summoning pentacle. And once you reveal it, you can get rid of it. So that's the holy water. You just right-click to throw. These are your protections. So in this game, there's 2 types of protections, 5 ghosts. So Mary statues only work when they're on the ground. So you have to place them. They have to be standing upright, I believe. And you have to stay within their barrier. And they'll repel certain kinds of ghosts. They work against childs, and they work against revenants. So if you get a revenant or a child, this is what you need to use. If you get a demon, you get poltergeist, or you get a shadow, crucifix. Crucifix works either on the ground just like Phasmo, or you can walk around with it, and it will keep you safe. So this is the crucifix. Now, these can expire, just like in Phasmo, like this can. The way you'll know is it'll turn pitch gray, and this statue will turn gray. If they turn gray, it means they're no longer effective. You need to get a new one. You also got the tiger eye. Very similar to assault. There will be a thing that says hit the ghost with a tiger eye. You either go up and touch him with it, or you could just throw it with right click. Or if you want to place it very neatly, you could just F and drop it. Or you could just drag it like this with you and just place it exactly where you want, like that. Incense. There's 2 types of exorcisms. One says hit the ghost with the incense, so you'd activate it with right click and just throw it at your feet next to the ghost. Or it will say go to the haunting room, which the haunting room is always the room that has orbs. And throw it on the ground to exorcise the ghost. So that's how that works. And then you get the voice box. Similar kind of thing. It is one of the clue types. There's EVPs, which is just like you'll hear a sound. Like you'll turn it on and say, "Can you hear me?" And you'll hear like a really distorted sound, or you'll hear like some kind of weird noise on it. That's an EVP. If you actually hear a radio, like music and shit, spirit box radio. If you turn it on, and for instance you ask, "Can you hear me?" and you hear a laugh or something that sounds like through the house, quickly turn off your voice box. If you ask like, "Can you hear me?" and then you hear a laugh, turn it off and see if you can still hear the laugh, and that will be voice in the house, and that's usually the sign of a demon too. Sometimes children. So those are pretty much the basics of the tutorial. You then have your van, which we'll go over in a second. This is also your actual starter camera. You'll just kind of put it and it'll pick up video. Now compared to Phasmo, you have an RV instead of a truck. You hit the horn to go once you pick a contract. When you go in, you'll have 3. This is one thing I wish Phasmo did. You'll be able to see 3 of your cameras at once, which is kind of cool. You'll have an objective board. And then these suitcases. When you go into a map on Simple and Paranormal, you're pretty much going to get every item you need to succeed right here. Starter ones. And they're weaker versions of which you can bring in. For instance, the starter camera could only take 3 pictures. If you bring your own, it could take 5. So you kind of want to work with your starter stuff. And then as you need stuff, you can go through in the map. You don't do it beforehand. You do it during the map. So when you're on the map, you can actually click this and spawn in an item with you when you're in the map. If I need another, let's say I fucked up and I misused my incense, I can bring another incense stick. And that's how you do that. You can go through and grab what you need. And other than that, I think we're going to pick a contract. We're going to go in, and I'll kind of run you through. And if we die, we die, right? I'm not too worried about it. I think we're just going to buy a paranormal. So the difference is, if you choose a simple contract, you need to find 2 to 3 pieces of evidence. So what that means is there will never be more than 3. Minimum 2, maximum 3, and then there's things. So if you find 3 things, you know you're done, and you just need to figure out the ghost type. Okay? So that is that. Paranormal, 3 to 5. So it could take all 5, and they pay more money. Obviously, there's an XP multiplier. And then extreme is actually less evidence needed. It's 2 to 4, but you have to bring in and risk every item. I guess we'll talk about death before we go in. So in this game, in single player, we're going to talk about that first. If you die, anything you left in your van, you keep that you brought in. So if I brought in a bunch of stuff and I left it in here, I don't lose it. Anything in the house, I lose. So if I brought in a bunch of tools in the house and the ghost kills me, and it's single player, game over. I lost that stuff. I don't get any XP. No money. Pretty much we lose the round. Now, if you decide you go in a mission, this happens sometimes, especially with children ghosts, which we'll go into if we get one. If you go into a house and the ghost is just being too violent, too aggressive, not letting you do anything, sometimes the best action is just to leave. If you just leave and leave all your stuff in the house, you will lose all that stuff. You'll get partial experience and money for any objectives you complete, any exorcisms you've performed, any no, you have to do the whole thing, but any objectives, any of that stuff, you will get rewarded for. But anything you leave in the house, you'll lose. So what you need to do is you need to bring everything back to the truck before you leave. Now, in multiplayer, it's a little bit easier, because in multiplayer, if one of your teammates dies, you could first of all drag his body back to the van, which will give him half the XP and half the money he would have earned. And then you could also bring back his stuff for him if he dies. Like if he dies and it's too hard, it's early, you could just bring the stuff back. And what's cool about the Ghost of Phasmo is he could still help. And some cool things you can do when you're dead is you could still assist the player. You could carry an item, so you could like do the whole like click like this, and carry one item with you, right? Well, I gotta pick it up. It's just a little hard. There we go. He could go like this, but let's say we're going against a cross ghost. He could totally pick up a cross, and he'll be invisible to me, but he can walk around with a cross like this and protect me. So you could do small things like that, or you come around with the occult sniffer, and let me know if there's a call energy nearby. So he could still help you, which I think is neat. Other than that, I think we're just going to hop into a contract. I think we're just going to go for a paranormal lost house. There's 3 maps right now. There's house, France, and castle being the biggest, which is Belgium. We're just going to go into this. This is 3 to 5. We're going to go pop in. So you just select the contract. If you're playing multiplayer, everyone needs to be in. Hit the wheel. And here we go. We'll go into one run really quick. And I'll kind of go over some bugs and tips during the run and after the run if we run into them. So you spawn in. So these are always the same. You need to exercise the entity. You need to film it with a camera. You need to measure the rating ER. That's with the yellow thermometer I showed you earlier. Measure an OC temperature above 10. So that just means you need to get that red little tool that gives you the temperature in the OC. You need to get the OC to 10. And then you need to detect it with EMF. Now, this used to be harder, but they made it to where if the ghost doesn't have EMF, it can still hit 2, so it won't be an evidence type. But it'll check it off the list. Now, you can go here and spawn in items if you want. And as I said, you get starter items. You get a ton. You get a pretty good list. They're weaker versions, but they get the job done. Now, my basic tip when I go into this map is I grab 3 things. And then I'm going to drag something with me too, just so we can save time. And I try to bring everything to the house I know I'm going to need right off the bat. So things I know I'm going to need. So we'll open the door. I'll usually always turn the light. We'll put these on. See, I'm getting immediate EMF. See, it's being very aggressive. My very first run of this game, I got killed the first 3 seconds. I'm not even kidding. When I first bought this game. Can you hear me? There's also audio cooldowns. We're just going to wait. Ghost being aggressive. So we're going to get protection. Because we never know. And we're going to drag this. So in this game, the ghost won't auto-kill you. You'll start to wave. Like, your screen will start to wave and get, like, very lucid. And that's how you know you're dying and you need to get some kind of protection. So, first things first, we're going to bring all the items, as we said. Get all the items going. Drop the Mary. We're getting everything I think I'll need right off the bat. It's being very aggressive, whatever it is. So now once I got things in, I like to go around with the picture camera around the first floor and upstairs to see if I could find a pentacle or the summoning room, because those end up being very relevant. So we're going to turn on the lights. Going to look around. Can you hear me? That sounded like it could have been radio. I'm not sure, though. We're kind of looking for objects. You kind of learn the spaces. See how there's nothing there, but I see a pot? So that's one invisible item. I'll come back for later. Yeah, we got radio. So right now... Oh, man, turn off the light. So we know it's radio, so I can go ahead and put the scan. And turn off the lights, which might be a sign of a shadow. We got an EMF 3 at least. We got a shadow. You see how it's pitch black? I know right away. So I know it's a shadow, right? So this is kind of the things you learn as you go. You turn off the lights. I kind of said I would do that. I could flash camera if it wants to try again. It decided to disappear. But you can get hunted at all times. This game, what makes it different than Phasmo is you're getting hunted all the time. Did I get the ghost photo? I didn't. So I got unlucky. Oh, haunting room, the pentacle. Look at that. Right to the right. So that's a picture. It gave me the haunting room. It didn't give me the pentacle. I'm out of pictures. So you get 3 pictures on the camera. This is where I'll show you where the upgrade is. So this camera's done. This is very aggressive, by the way. See, we already got 3 objectives done. We got the film, we got the OC meter, and we got the EMF. So we're just gonna spawn in another camera. And this is the meta of the game right now. This is something I think they're gonna change eventually. You don't want your crosses to expire, because when they do, you lose them, except the starter one. You kind of want to keep spawning in fresh crosses. The ones you bring in last longer. So when you think you've overused your crosshair, just grab a new one. But you see, this camera holds 5 pictures instead of 3. Okay, we got the pentacle that time. So honestly, now that I got that, which is the biggest thing, getting the pentacle and the origin, there's a couple things that tells me. That tells me, number one, we're going to have some kind of writing. Because you start to learn that different evidence types correspond to different things. So if you look, for instance, wall drawing. Well, I know it's a shadow, right? So we can put that in. So wall drawing adds some form of holy water. Writing in general adds a holy water use. So I know if it's textual writing, it's going to tell me neutralize the pentacle with holy water. Or if it's wall writing, it's the same thing. So I'm either going to try to get writing in my book that's a text, or something to write something textual on the wall. And the wall writing in general is sometimes invisible, so sometimes you need the camera to see it. So we're actually going to look around to see if we see wall writing, if this ghost lets me actually play. See, it breaks light bulbs. That's the sign of a shadow too. It likes... We have an invisible Atari there. Okay, so that's 2 invisible objects. We're going to come back and flash later. Okay, nothing out of the ordinary here. No wall writing. That's what we're looking for. Oh god, it's right there. See, we got our scan. 9p, 350. So we no longer need that tool. I can't get the picture of the ghost because it's blinking. But we're going to put that in. So that's 9p350. That gives us another clue. So far we know we got to find a haunted object, which is cool. That's a rare one, so we'll go through that one later. And we need to flash camera it because it's a shadow. We also need to check upstairs for wall writing, so we're going to do that if this ghost lets me leave. But you see how the camera's getting fuzzy? That means it's nearby. I haven't really got to get a good look at EMF, but we're going to go for it. We got a crucifix. We know it's a shadow. Shadows fear crucifixes. Everything looks ordinary here. No wall writing. Still no wall writing. Still looking around. Got Jack in the Box. Nothing interesting there. It looks like we're not going to have wall writing. So we know it's going to be textual writing. And that's because that's the only option that makes Pentacle exist after wall writing. Now we're going to go through with the instant cam and get some of these invisible items. So this has 2 flashes. So there's the first one. We'll make that appear. And we took a picture already when they were invisible. And then we also flash camera. So we're just going to bring these back to the van now. This will give us money if we complete the run. And now that I know my flash camera's out of juice, I'm going to need one to take a picture of him. We're going to bring this one, which has 5 pictures. This is what it is. It's just, you learn, get a little bit more knowledgeable. You learn, like, what kind of evidence brings what kind of stuff. And that helps you decide, like, if you aren't getting the ghost. And you can kind of try a little bit of everything. Even if you're not sure, you could just try something to exercise it, and you'll know quickly. If it poofs in white smoke, it means it wasn't one of the types that you needed. If it poofs in blue smokes, it means you did something to actually hurt it, and that was part of the exorcism tool. And these are tips you can use to figure out the ghost. We already got 2 items. We didn't even need to use this to figure it out, but we're going to walk around now. Reading a 4, it means there's nothing in this room of value. 4, there's nothing of value. Something in here is definitely one of the items. 8. It's not the knives. You see how it changed the 4 when I brought it out of the room? So we're gonna try the tea kettle. There's certain items you can move, certain you can't. Okay. Try the coffee maker. It's the coffee maker. See how I started waving there? 0 temps. If you look at my thing, 0 temperatures. Okay. So we got 0 temps, which is interesting. So that'll be another clue. And we are in paranormal, so 3 pieces of evidence could be it. Highly doubt it, because I saw EMF hit above a 3, so we're gonna have 4 for sure. But we go here and we have 0 temps. So now we're looking for this, which we did see spike at least to a 3. And we're looking for written evidence, which we know there is. So there's actually going to be all 5 evidence types. We got a maximum evidence around. We're gonna make this pentacle reveal. We're gonna ask it to write in the book. Spirit, can you write in the book? This one takes a bit sometimes. Spirit, can you write in the book? Can you write in the book? Sometimes it just doesn't do it. And the book writing is very buggy. A lot of the time you won't even see anything. And sometimes it will write, and that actually won't even be one of the evidence types. It's really weird. Spirit, can you write in the book? EMF 5. You see how the red one started lighting? So we got EMF 5. So we're going to go ahead and mark that. Spirit, can you write in the book? Okay, we will come back to that. So, now there's one thing interesting I told you. So 8 is generally an item. 16 is a pentacle. 16 to 20 can also be the ghost. Especially if I see the temps drop to 0, I know the ghost is nearby when having this. Now, one of the big things is this one. Destroy the haunt of a cursed object in neutrino gun, which emits a powerful OC. So there is one item in this house that has a rating of 68. 68 means that's the item I need. I need to bring it back and blast it with the neutrino gun. That is one of the extras. See how there's blue smoke? That was one of the things. Hit it with the flash cam. So you have to kind of keep track of this mentally and just know you did that. So I did this. So he's flashed. It's a shadow. He doesn't like flashes. That hurts him. And we're going to go look around. Try and keep the lights on versus shadow. It doesn't like lights. See, it's following me right now. There's actually an item in here. So we're going to take a look. We're getting a lot of items. Oh, God. I did not mean to close the door. See, just like the physics sometimes isn't great on this. Okay, it's not the chess set. What about the clock? It's not the clock. So it's got to be this. It can be shit like this, too. This can be the stuff you need to move. Yep, that's it. And sometimes the pictures glitch, guys. It's normal. Like, sometimes you take a picture and it just won't count something. And it'll be frustrating. And this is something I hope he changes. So you can't really turn the items. Sometimes it's hard to fit into the truck. But we got lucky that this one picked up sideways. We already got 4 items that are haunted. There's a 5th one in there. So far, so good. Photos. Yeah, see cursed object. We still have 2 photos left. We're going to get a lot of money for photos. You have up to 10 photos. Okay. My cross is good because I really haven't had to use it much, so we're going to kind of go around now. Nothing here. Oh! You see how we're getting to 68? Oh, we got it for a split second. It's probably this little bottle. We'll find out right now. Yep, Nope, it's not the little bottle. It could be one of these. Nope. This is it. Okay, it's not actually trying to bang the door down. Okay, so we know that's the item. We're out of pictures, so I'm actually going to take this back with me. So stuff can fall through the earth. They've kind of patched most of it, but we're just going to leave it there for a second. And we're going to get another photo camera. Still haven't gotten a picture of the ghost, which sucks. I'd love to get a picture of it. And now, as it says per the evidence, it says destroy the haunt with the neutrino gun. So we're going to take this. And this thing does have juice. Don't overuse this. This isn't good defense, by the way. It will not help you much. Save it just for doing the haunts, because this will not save you. You could totally exercise, zap the ghost, and it could appear right on you again, just kill you. Here we got the blue smoke. Now I'll put this in the truck. Oh. Yeah, there we go. I haven't used it much, but this is a thing where you get a little paranoid. You're just going to drop your cross, grab another one. So we're going to grab one more crucifix. We're also, because we need to get the ER reading, going to bring a thermometer with us. And we're also going to bring the photo camera, because I do want to get a picture of the ghost if I can. At some point. We already got the film on camera, so I'm just going to throw this away. I don't really need this. Now, there's one room I want to check before we finish. Can you write in the book? Spirit, can you write in the book? This one's a pain in the ass. Sometimes I just don't like to do it. See, I got the ER reading on the thermometer, so that's done. So now we don't need the thermometer. We're going to check one more room. I just want to be sure that I'm not missing any items. That's a 4. Here's a 4.5. Okay. So I'm convinced there are no items. The ghost is on me for a sec, so it's 16. Convinced there's no more items. Now, here's some tricks that could help you. So, we know there's a pentacle. And you can never just leave a pentacle. You have to kill it with holy water. Now, we're not getting him to write in the book. He's being a pain in the ass. Now, pentacle on the ground is always either wall writing or text writing. It's not the drawings. The drawings are holy water at the ghost. If it's writing, it's related to the pentacle. So we have two options. We either have wall writing or ghost book writing. I haven't seen him write on the wall anywhere. I looked at the camera, didn't see it. So it leaves it as text writing. So you can kind of just fill this in just with the knowledge of the game that you pick up over time. So I know it's going to be there because there is a pentacle that we saw. So we're going to have all 5 evidence types. We're going to reveal. We've already done the instant cam. We've already done the pentacle. Not yet. We're going to. We've done this. We need to do the pentacle, the incense, and the neutrino at the ghost. So, what do we start with first? We're going to go over the pentacle. That's very easy. You just throw holy water at it. Okay. We'll bring an incense with us as well. Okay, we're back in. Which camera's good, by the way? I want to keep the camera that's only good in here. Just so I don't get confused. That can go. Honestly, that could go. We're not using that. Mary doesn't do us anything because it's not a Mary type ghost. So we can just throw her. And the reason I'm just throwing these out, these are free items. You'll get these every map. These you don't need to save. And if you beat the mission, that's one thing I forgot to decide. If you beat the mission, you don't need to lure anything back to your car. If you beat it, you get to keep everything. Even if you died in multiplayer. Show yourself. I can get to write. Can you write in the book? See, it's stubborn. Spirit, can you write in the book? Spirit, can you show yourself? Oh, she didn't want to deal with the gun, because that's one of the things. See, she ran. She's smart. Did I get the photo of the ghost? I did. So we got a bunch of good photos. Ghost writing would have been nice to get, but it's just being stubborn. We just need to... Now it's just a waiting game, and unfortunately this last patch made it a lot more annoying. Everything used to be a lot quicker. Now you kind of have to wait. There's verbal cooldowns on like stuff like asking it to write in the book or speak. Can you write in the book? Can you show yourself? Can you show yourself? See, I'm pretty sure even that probably has a 10-second cooldown. Show yourself. He who haunts this place in the name of the Lord, I command you show yourself. That's not gonna... Oh, it made it mad. There's certain verses in the book, the exorcism book, if you open it up, that you could say to kind of provoke it. Sometimes it works. And that's the first line. There, we got the incense. What do we got left? Done, done, done. We just need to shoot it. We're gonna grab a new crucifix, though. See how the objectives are green now? We got the or the temperature. And here's another thing from Phasmo I didn't even talk about. The ghost could follow you outside your van. It could actually come in and kill you if you're not careful. You still need, they will bang on your door quite a bit, but I've seen it break the door. I've actually seen a shadow come in and almost kill me. Show yourself. See, I strictly heard that other right ear. And see, when you get the white sparkles, that means you beat it. You hear the ambient sound go away. There's nothing left. Now, a couple things to note. Unfortunately, if you wanted to hunt items after the fact, the OC breaks. There's no more occult energy, so nothing is real. But there is one thing you can do. I can't show you on this run. But let's say you didn't really get a good chance to check the house because he was being just annoying and not letting you go up the stairs and hunting 24/7, which some ghosts will do like children. The children ghosts are the worst. They just hunt and hunt and hunt and hunt. You can kind of go around with your camera just to see if you see invisible objects, and you can still get those objects. That's how you can tell. Or if you really want to just be paranoid, you could just loot the whole damn house, and maybe you get lucky. But that's it. I don't need to bring any of my items back because I completed the mission, so you just make your way back over here. You'll hit the key. We actually got a lot of items. I usually don't get that many. And you just hit start. Back in your van. Go out. So we got 4 or 5 evidence. Now, this is what I'm going to say. The one that's counting wrong, and this is a bug, I believe, is the writing. The writing is always wrong most of the time unless you actually see it. His writing code is not it. Let's just put it that way. So, we got it right, but we didn't. It didn't show. Like, there was no writing anywhere. So it just bugged out, and that's just how it is. You got money for doing all the objectives. We got money for guessing shadow, exercising it, pictures, objects. $339. If I would have died in multiplayer and we would have got out, I would have got half of each of those. And then you go back and you can pick a new contract. And that is pretty much it. Going over some tips. As I said, bring the items to the door. Try and identify what ghost it is first. Know if it's a Mary or Crucifix ghost. don't be afraid just to sit at the door like I do. That will let you know quite quickly. You'll kind of figure out the ghost before the evidence types most of the time. Figure out what you're dealing with. Figure out what you can eliminate. If the first time you see it, it's not crawling, it's not a child, you know right away, crucifix ghost. Very easy. If it's not crawling, and other ghosts can crawl, it's just remember, Revenant has to crawl all the time. So take a couple takes just to make sure what it is. If it's dark, you don't shadow crucifix, which is the safer ghost, and then you come in with your protection. If it's a Mary ghost, just carry a Mary with that around you instead of a cross like I did the whole game, and just drop it when you need to, because it only works the ground as a Mary. And those are the big tips for going in. Don't be afraid to leave. Just remember, if you brought in any items that weren't of the free starter items, make sure you go get it. When you finally do get some money, what I recommend you grab first is grab your own flashlight, because you never know if you want to play multiplayer. At least have one of those. Have an extra couple picture cameras. Have an extra instant cam. You don't have to worry about this. Maybe a couple extra incense. And a couple extra holy waters, which I'll get into why in a second. And just kind of buy crucifixes and Marys. You can live off of those as long as you have a bunch. There's no limit, which we'll go into why I don't think that's the right way. But there's no limit. So every time you think your cross is going to go, just get a new one. The reason you do that, if your cross expires, you actually lose it. If it doesn't, and you just put it in the van like I did and don't use it up all the way, there's no timer on it. You just have to kind of mentally know, okay, I think I've used my cross a bit much. He pressured it for a good minute. Let's put it away. I think they have between 2 to 3 minutes of use of him like being around you. So you just grab a new one, and as long as they don't gray out, you don't lose them. Same with the Marys. So I would probably grab these first until you build up some money. Get like 5 of each just so you have them. And then maybe pick up an incense here, some holy waters, and then maybe get your camera, an instant camera, and then a flashlight. That's what I'd start with. And then you could start getting one of everything too, because you're going to need them for extreme. Like, you need to have these. And some of these aren't cheap. Like, we got $339. You can get upwards of 6 on extreme. But, like, a neutrino gun costs $750, and that's how much money I had. I could buy more, but that's the cost of the game. As I said, go around the rooms with a camera. Try and find the pentacle. Try and find the haunting room, because there's certain things that relate to those rooms. Check the back porch of the house. I didn't do that. It could be out there. It can be on the porch. Not the backyard, but the porch. Go around then with a scan of your OC meter. Try to pick up some items. Take some photos. Get them back to your van. And just, you gotta be a little patient. And that's what it is. Now, in terms of some bugs, we're going to talk about some of the minor ones, which aren't that bad. So sometimes you'll drop an item and the floor will cover it. He's fixing that. It doesn't cover everything completely, but you could lose crosses that way. I've had the book like covered 80%, but I'm able to pick it up. So that's one bug, I would say. Another one, I don't know if it's a bug, but you need to be careful where you stand. A ghost right here in an open area like this is a threat. Because if you have a cross, you could just keep it back and repel it. But if you're like here and you repel it into the wall, it can go through your crucifix and just kill you. So big open rooms compared to small. So you're getting hunted, try and make it to a big open room. Like this would be bad. Like this is very narrow. He gets stuck in the wall and kill you. I don't know if it's a bug or not. Maybe not. I'm not sure. Now another thing I'm not sure is a bug, and I hope it's actually a feature of the game, is in multiplayer, the ghost can do multiple things at once. And what I kind of like, and I hope it's not a bug, I really do, I can be seeing him go after one of my teammates, and my teammate doesn't see him. My teammate has no idea, but I see him hunting my teammate. Or he could be upstairs with my teammate doing something and killing me at the same time. It's almost like the house is haunted, and the entity could be in multiple places at a time. I hope that's just a feature, because I do like that. I think it makes it more terrifying. It makes it less safe for people, so you always have to be on guard. Another potential bug that sometimes happen, and this is a major one, I think, in my opinion, is the ghostwriting. There are times you'll actually hear it right in the book, and you're like, oh, okay. So there are times where only your teammates can see the writing, and you can't. So it's confusing. Or there are times you'll hear the writing, but you'll see nothing, and you'll go upstairs and see wall writing instead. which I'm like, okay, maybe it wrote on the wall and you heard it. But then there are times it will write in the book. You'll take a picture of the book, even though it shows nothing, and it will say ghost writing. But then there will be wall writing upstairs. Or like in the case we had, we know we had some kind of ghost writing in the book, except it never appeared, and then it just miscounted the evidence. So something with his writing code is off, and it can actually cause you to lose points, and it can be really annoying, and cause you not to know what to do. So, another little bug that I hate is holy water. We didn't really get into that. Holy water at the pentacle's easy. Holy water at the ghost sucks. So there are times, like, he'll be standing right there, and I'll throw a holy water, and I'll hit him dead on, but he'll, like, instant transmission to over here. It's like he has some, like, glitch code that doesn't let him get hit by the holy water. I've wasted, like, 8 holy waters having to do that before when I need to hit him. So that's another thing. They really need to address stuff with the evidence. Other than that, I think that's most... Oh, multiplayer bugs. Multiplayer bugs. Let's get into those. Cameras, keep in mind, are very bugged. Your camera will take extra pictures based on the number of people you have. So, for instance, if I'm playing a 3-player game, let's say she's a cursed object. I take a picture of her. It will take up 3 slots in my thing. 3 of my 10 pictures will be gone. So you're being punished with the camera for playing multiplayer. It's probably just a bug. He's going to fix that. But it is annoying, so know that you have limited pictures in multiplayer. So you're playing with one other person, you pretty much have 5 pictures because they're all going to be doubles. If you're playing with 3 people, including yourself, you have 3 pictures because those will be triples, and then you have 1 extra. And you're playing with 4 people, you get 3 pictures because the first 2 are going to take 4 slots. So that's kind of one thing we noticed that we hope gets fixed. And that's more or less what I got to say about the game. I mean, I think it's different. Phasmo, you're trying to find the ghost. This game, the ghost is finding you right from the start. It's hunting you at all times. It's like you're at 0 sanity in Phasmo the whole time. And it requires you to be on guard, and it's more terrifying. An example of why I think it's more terrifying, too, is you literally have people, and I have a friend who doesn't live too far from me, actually, lives in a haunted house. That's what he's told me. I've never been there, but he believes he lives in a haunted house. He doesn't think it's like a violent spirit or anything, but he lives in a haunted house in his own opinion. And I could get him to play Phasmo after a while, even though it was hard for him. I can get him to play Phasmo and come in the house, but he'd eventually go back to the van just sitting there. I can't even get him to watch my stream when I play this game. And this game does make you jump, and some of the sounds and some of the things do get you. And as I said, you're going to learn things as you play. For instance, let's say you got this, and you do all this, and he's still not exercised. That means you are missing something. So you can kind of go through. So let's see. We got Pentacle, Neutrino, Haunt, and Instant Cam. So you can kind of go through and see that would be an incense. That would be an incense in the haunting room. Like, okay, so that lets me know. And then this would be Tiger Eye. This would be nothing. This one would add nothing as well. This one would add Tiger Eye. So that pretty much narrows it down. There's 3 things you can do to win. So you can go try the Tiger Eye. If that's it, you know you can put in one of the Tiger Eye things and maybe get lucky. Although you're never going to miss an entity scan. You just won't. Entity scan, you'll know right off the bat. If you're at 0% after the ghost has been in the vicinity of the starting area, there's no entity scan. So this one you're probably going to be able to narrow out right away. So in this case, you go, okay, it's going to require either incense in the ghost or incense in the haunting room. So you just get your incense, throw one in the haunting room if there is one. If there isn't a haunting room, then you know you have to hit it with incense, and you could turn it to the right thing, which would be this. So, and that's how you can figure out some of these clues without actually seeing them. You kind of learn that some of them correspond to other things. Overall, I'm harsh on the game sometimes, especially on stream, and I get mad sometimes because sometimes, compared to Phasmo, the deaths feel a little bit cheap, especially when they're through a wall. As I said, I don't know if they're a glitch. And sometimes you'll have protection straight out, and the ghost is killing even though it's the right protection, and it makes no sense. And it just looks bad, especially multiplayer. Like, how the hell did you die? And it just feels unfair sometimes. Phasmo never really felt unfair on the deaths, so this game has a way to go in there. But overall, I'd say I like this game more than Phasmo. I think it's terrifying. I think it adds that whole level of exercising. It's more satisfying. It's not like you're just finding out what it is and going, peace, I'm done. I figured it out. It's a demon. I'm out. I can't deal with it. It's you're figuring out it's a demon and you're risking your life to kill it. You're fighting back, and I love it. And I hope to see more from this game. I hope his next couple patches make things a little bit smoother, especially on the holy water and ghost trading part. That's what I like to see. He did some AI tweaks. I don't know if I agreed with them all the way, like making the voice 10-second cooldown. It just makes things longer, and you're waiting a lot longer, and it made the games longer than it needed to be, probably. But as long as eventually we fix some of these bigger bugs, in my opinion, we add another map, add more ghost types, we'll get there. This game kind of got rushed out. It's on early access, so here's to hoping it gets better, and I think it will. I'm enjoying it, as I said. I stream this game multiple times a week on twitch.tv/Kaius. That's KAIUSSS. So that's 3 S's at the end. Usually at 10 p.m. Eastern, so feel free to stop by. And I hope you guys appreciate this tutorial. I hope it helped. Feel free to stop by and ask any questions. And may your ghost hunts go better than mine. Later, guys.